All right, I am back finally. Um, well, welcome to AlphaISM Radio. Thank you for tuning in for Thursday's abbreviated show. Abbreviated because I have to work early. I have to get up at 6:30. So these 4, 5, 6, 7 hour shows they're going to be done for a very long while. All right. So this show will probably last an hour, if that. So unfortunately, that's how it is. And but still, I am going to get to the matters at hand. First, let me start out with my own personal situation. I want to give a shout out to Hydra 632. I don't know his name. He donated some money. I found a car. Hopefully, I'll be getting it this Saturday, God willing. And I finally have a set of wheels to get me to and from work. For those of you that I didn't hear, that wasn't here for the last couple of shows, I did get a job with Bank of America. Um, it's a good job. It's a good paying job, and it's banker hours, 9 to 5 type of thing. And so it's I think it's going to work out well. I get a lot of perks that I didn't even think I was going to get. For example, um, as soon as I get in the system, I'm going to get 25% off of my cell phone bill because I guess Sprint is one of their partners. Um, when I get auto insurance, I get a special corporate rate and stuff like that. So there's a lot of cool stuff I'm going to be getting because because I'm working for Bank of America, and since I was hired as a banking center manager, I'm going to get my own corporate credit card. And in fact, they're going to need it because lost. By the way, if anybody wants to meet the famous Bunkei, you're going to have the chance if you live in or near the Los Angeles area. I'm going to be down there around the 23rd of January. So if anyone, wants to, meet up, I probably have a limited amount of free time. It's going to be in the evening, most likely, probably after 5 or 6 p.m. Yeah, it will, just for something to keep in mind for those of you that happen to be living near the area. Um, yeah, I mean, so far things are going good for me, and I'm very, very thankful for all the people that have donated and continue to have donated. Although I got enough money to buy the car, it doesn't leave me very much. I mean, I probably have like $20 to my name until like after January when I get paid. So that kind of sucks. But somehow I'll do something, and I'll probably buy like 300 bags of ramen noodles or something. I don't know. But I'm very happy that I'm, finally starting to recover from everything that has happened, in the past few months. And I mean, I do thank you guys for your support. You guys have been really good. You've been really helpful, really supportive, and I really do appreciate that. Especially some of the people where we haven't really known each other that long, pretty much since the radio's been up. So I do appreciate it. Um, yeah, Alpha is a mobile. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah. Um, but anyway, all right. I guess the second thing I want to talk about for a minute. Um, I got a chance to watch a few matches for Guilty Gear Accent Core. That is one crazy game. I saw a few of the characters and saw the changes they made. There's for those of you who don't know, in Guilty Gear now for Accent Core, when you knock someone down, they now can actually slide along the ground, or some moves actually make them stick to the wall, like hit them off. You know, there's a wall bounce, but there's some moves that actually like stick to the wall, like a la Tekken style. So I mean, that was really interesting. Some characters really jump out as being a little bit too good already. Namely, Slayer. Slayer has his new Force Break, which is Guilty Gear's version of an EX move. His kick and his punch, they knock you up in the air, like off the screen, and you and about 2 seconds later you land. And he actually can combo off of his neck bite. I mean, if you see some of the videos, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's actually pretty damn good. And May is really good now. She has this new move that basically is almost, I don't know what you call it. I don't know. It looks really strange. I don't know what she's actually doing in the move, but it covers a lot of ground and it's really fast. And in the match, the guy was landing it almost every time he used it. So it's a really good move. So May got beefed up. I like Testament's new move. The one, I mean, I don't know the names of these moves because these moves got real names, but it's the one where the move where he basically turned, like make a circle with the sight, Well, now he makes a circle in an opposite circle, and I mean it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy moves. If you want to see it, even for those of you who really don't pay attention to Guilty Gear, you should really you should really pay attention to this particular version. I think it's going to be pretty hot, and it seems like they aim it towards people that are used to playing Street Fighter games. Just go to dustloop.com, and you should see links. They have links. They have a video thread that's solely for posting links to videos. There's one particular, there's filebank.co.jp. In that thread, there's 90 accent core videos already up, available for download. They take forever, so like when you do it, just like leave it on overnight because it's going to take a while. I mean, it downloads like a 25 kilobytes a second, so it's going to take a while. But yeah, it's a great game, and when I get a chance to play more of it, then I'm gonna give a little bit more what I think of it. But from what I've seen so far, it's a pretty cool game. It's a pretty cool game. Johnny looks good. Soul looks really good. Only thing I don't like, I'm trying to get used to, is that Kai. Or, I'm sorry, not Kai. The intro, the announcer, he sounds really intimate. I don't know what else to say. He sounds. I mean, it's really corny sounding, but it takes a while for me to adjust to that. All right, moving on. By the way, one other thing. If you download that one, if you try to go to that one site with the 90 videos on it, you're going to have to go through IE to do it, because you have to install a download manager from the site, and it's really stupid. And they won't let you just directly download the videos. You have to download one of their installers that has, I think it has a little ad in it, and it's stupid. It's stupid. But you're gonna have to use Internet Explorer. If you use Mozilla Firefox or anything like that, it won't work. Yo, you're on AlphaISM Radio.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, it's DSP.
Yep. What's good in the hood?
Well, I'd have probably say a rare occasion, I actually have the complete scoop on Texas Showdown for you, because I know you've had questions, and there's been a lot of rumors and stuff flying around about what's going to happen with it. And I actually ended up talking to one of the organizers today.
Okay.
Because I was out there all week trying to figure it out, and he gave me pretty much the skinny, and he also was actually kind enough to tell me why they haven't really announced any of the information yet. So.
All right.
Oh, man, where to start? I actually took our whole conversation, I put it in a file here because it's so long. And it's exciting. I'm excited about this.
Oh, so it's a good type of excitement. Okay.
Oh, man, I'm very excited. The things that they're doing, but all right, we'll get to that. So basically, I opened the conversation. I was like, I've been hearing a lot of rumors about Texas Showdown, and I really would like to know what's going on with it because there's really no information, which is kind of rare. I remember, Texas Showdown, usually everyone hears about it for months ahead of time. And this year, everyone knows it actually flip-flopped with Final Round. Final Round's going to be held in March, and Texas Showdown's going to be held at the end of April. And I said, well, I got a couple questions for you. And first of all, I wanted to know, what's the deal with you teaming up with this anime convention? And basically, what he told me was, yes, it's true. The name of the anime convention is called Anime Matsuri. And the reason that they're teaming up with them is because the arcade in Texas is called Planet Zero. It's the same Japanese arcade that they held a lot of the side events on last year for Texas Showdown. They're pretty much the whole group that's running the convention. They're the owner of that arcade actually runs this convention.
Oh, okay.
And so the convention is, the convention's actually going to be the main sponsor of Texas Showdown this year. And it just works out because they already have a location that has, cabinets and a lot of resources. And I was like, going off of that, you just mentioned cabinets. What are we talking about here? Because usually Texas Showdown is a mix of, cabinets. Like last year they had Super Turbo, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and maybe one or two other games they had on cabinet, and then CVS 2, Third Strike, Guilty Gear will all hold on console. And basically he told me, well, this year it's a total flip. This year it will be all on arcade cabinets, 100%, every single game. And they will all be Japanese-style sit-down arcade cabinets, and they will be head-to-head arcade cabinets.
Now, my question, off the bat, did you ask this, if you're going to get away and get to it, that's fine. Did you ask if they're going to have enough? Well, it's not just going to be
Oh,
cheap.
yeah.
Okay.
Trust me, that was one of the first things that came to my mind because as you'll learn as we go on about this, about the amount of tournaments that they're actually going to be running, they're going to need a significant amount of cabinets. Well, I've been assured that Texas Showdown will have up to 20 head-to-head cabinets. So we're talking actually 40 Japanese, cabinets that'll be linked together, which makes 20 head-to-head cabinets at all times.
Okay.
So that is from what I remember, even from the past evolutions that had arcade cabinets, that is the most cabinets I've ever seen at one tournament. Mm-hmm. So just right off the bat, they got their stuff together. What I asked, let me see here, let me actually scroll down in my conversation. The one thing that he did point out to me was that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 will probably be the only game at the entire tournament that'll be played on American sticks and American-style buttons.
I was just about to ask that. You read my mind.
Right. And what he did say, though, was there's not going to be any American-style cabinets. They will all be Japanese-style cabinets, but for the Marvel 2 tournament, they will separate a section of the cabinets and install American controls on them so the Marvel players can play and they won't complain.
Oh, okay. That's nice. Okay. All right.
Let's see. And then let's see here what he said next.
By the way, for those of you who are just joining us, this is DSP, feared ST player, former King of Hate. Now he's just king.
Hopefully soon to be feared in many other things besides ST.
Yeah. And he's giving us the skinny on Texas Showdown. I like what I hear so far. At least one of my biggest complaints have been laid to rest. So I'm going to go ahead and let you continue.
All right. Well, one of the major changes and one of the major things that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about this year is that this is not just a traditional tournament in the style of how American tournaments have been held. What they're actually going to do is Texas Showdown has chosen 4 games, which are going to be their main event games. Now, when I say main event, I mean that this is how it's going to go. In order to enter the tournament of any of these 4 games, you have to have a team of players. And this is going to go to, people are going to think, oh, well, in Japan they have all team tournaments. This is how it's going to happen. Basically, you have a team of players, and you're going to enter a singles tournament. The singles tournament is going to work like any other singles tournament of any fighting game. And basically, depending on how the players of your team rank when that singles tournament is done, is going to determine your team's seeding in the actual team tournament, which is the main event. So basically, there's going to be a singles tournament. After that, they're going to seed your team, and there's going to be a team tournament for all 4 of these top 4 games. What's going to happen is those teams are now going to play off in the finals, which are going to be held on stage, similar to like an SBO type of a deal, and it's going to be all on stage, all main event. It's going to be pretty cool. And after that, what I was told is that after the main events are actually held, there's going to be a huge concert too. So it's almost like not just a tournament. There's an anime convention, there's a tournament, there's a main event of team tournaments for these top 4 games, and then there's going to be a musical concert afterwards.
Now, one question is, did he tell you the 4 games are going to be?
Well, of course he told me the 4 games they're going to be, but I don't want to spoil everything. Come on, man.
Okay, go ahead, man.
Let me put it this way. There's going to be 4 games. It's pretty much, it's not all Capcom games, first of all, so everyone who just plays Capcom games, or people that don't play Capcom games, don't get worried and think that, oh, man, my game won't be there, because pretty much the top 4 games, and keep in mind this has kind of a Japanese thought to it, too. The top 4 fighting games right now are going to be represented. And if your favorite game, I mean, let's be honest, Super Turbo, it's not going to be one of the top 4 games. Yeah, right.
It won't be?
Games, Super Turbo will definitely not be one of the top 4 games. Super Turbo will never be a top 4 game in a long time, man. But what they're going to do is they're going to have side tournaments for other games. So if your game isn't included, in the main event, you'll still have a side singles tournament that you'll get to play in. So even if you are, you're disappointed that it's not one of the top games, there's still a chance that there's going to be a singles tournament for most of the popular fighting games anyway. Now here's the cool thing. The singles tournament has prizes and the main event team tournament has prizes. So if you get top 3, in the singles tournament, but your team ends up not doing so hot in the team tournament, you still come out with some money.
Okay.
So it's almost like if you enter one of those 4 main event games, you get 2 tournaments for the price of 1. You get to play a singles tournament and you get a chance to win some money, and then you get a chance to, to go into the team tournament where you can also win some money. So it's like 2 for 1. That's awesome. That's the first time anything like that has ever been done at a tournament.
Okay.
What else are they doing here?
I think you kept us in suspense long enough.
The reason that, first of all, that they haven't announced anything, and this was interesting too, the reason why nothing has been announced is basically because they were waiting for the official website to go up, and the reason the website hasn't gone up is because they're actually waiting for SBO to announce their official games for this year coming up, 2007. And they actually wanted to kind of go off of that and say, okay, well, guess what? Here are 4 main event games, and here are our side games, dependent on SBO. What I've actually been told is that a couple of the games held at Texas Showdown this year are actually going to be SBO games, like new games that are just being held in Japan. SBO, pretty much brand new in Japan, are going to be in the U.S. on these arcade cabinets, and, we're going to be able to play them in tournament for the first time ever. So I think that's pretty cool. It's almost like, hey, you're going to get a chance to play all these new games that you probably wouldn't have a chance to normally play in the U.S. at Texas Showdown. Another
that ties into a major beef that I have, but I'm going to let you finish, though.
Oh, okay. I know what your beef is, by the way, but let me go on. I know a lot of people have been talking about how the Japanese are coming and how they're going to have an invitational with Japanese to come play Guilty Gear Accent Core, and it's going to be unfair because the Japanese got to play a couple months before us, and all that.
I mean, a couple of months.
Well, I've been assured.
Period. We won't be able to get.
Well, yeah. Obviously, it's going to be a rape. What are you going to do? But it's a cool way to attract those Japanese players. And another thing is, I've been assured that Guilty Gear Accent Core will not be the only game with Japanese Invitational. There will be other games that the U.S. currently has that we've been playing that they're going to have Japanese invitationals for. So there's going to be several teams of Japanese players coming over to challenge the U.S., which is pretty cool. Now, one thing that I actually mentioned to my contact was, hey, if the Japanese already technically qualified for the team tournament, in Japan, are they going to get to enter the singles tournament? because, I mean, I thought the whole idea of the singles tournament was to get a good seed for your team. If Japan has already qualified, you know, they're probably going to get a top seed anyway. Are they going to enter the singles? And they haven't decided yet. I mean, there's pros and cons to it. The pros are that a lot of the American players are going to want to play the Japanese because they don't get to play them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But the cons are, you know, okay, here are the Japanese coming. Okay, we already know the Japanese dominate us in pretty much 90% of the fighting games out there. If they're going to come and dominate in the singles tournament, and then they're going to come and dominate in the team tournament, well, what's the point? You know, they're going to take up all the money. So Texas Showdown really hasn't decided whether or not they're going to allow the Japanese to enter the singles tournaments, or if it's going to be pretty much an exclusively U.S. kind of qualifier, and it'll only be for the purpose of ranking the U.S. teams in the team tournament for those main games. So that's not determined yet. What else? Oh, prizes. Prizes are nice. Let me put it that way. Prizes are not, they're not Evo caliber, but they're pretty damn close. And it looks like top 3 spots for both the singles and the team tournaments will get money, which is nice. I'm not going to mention dollar amounts either because I don't think that's something that he would want me to disclose. But it is pretty sweet. It's worth the trip, let's put it that way. Let me see, what else did he tell me here? I mean, the major thing with this tournament this year is teaming up with the anime convention, doing the whole spin on it, picking 4 games to be the main event and have a team event. What Texas Showdown is really trying to do is make a good business move here. They're trying to differentiate their product from all the other fighting game tournaments out there. They're trying to be different from Evolution to attract players who maybe, you know, maybe there are some people that don't want to go to Evolution because, you know, it's in Vegas, they're intimidated, they can't gamble, they're young, they're underage. Well, here's a different tournament. Here's an anime convention you can come and have fun at, also play some games, see some Japanese players play, maybe play against some of them, even play some new games that, you know, not even in the U.S. yet. They're actually going to get these games for the tournament. So it's kind of like a different way to run a tournament, and I think it's a pretty good idea.
Okay, so I'm guessing that this is a new chapter for Texas Showdown. That this is not just for this year or next year. You know, they're going to be doing. This is going to be a permanent business move to differentiate itself.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, last year at Texas Showdown, I actually had a couple really serious discussions with some of the major players, you know, involved in it. And the one thing they told me was, you know, Texas is actually really serious about starting a serious tournament scene. The problem is that up to now they haven't had the resources, but now that they've found a place like Planet Zero, you know, an arcade and an arcade owner who's willing to work with them and has connections with Japan, they now have the means to get that attraction and to make their event bigger and better. I mean, to my knowledge, they are going into business. I think, you know, Texas Showdown is going to be a legally registered business, similar to how, you know, Evolution is a legally registered business.
Okay,
don't quote me on that because I don't know if they've done that yet. But
the 4 top games, the 4 featured games, give us one that we would like to hear.
One that you'd like to hear.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But do you want one that you would like to hear personally, or one that a lot of the
personally,
listeners
but for the people listening?
All right. Well, if you had to pick one Street Fighter game right now that was going to be a main event at this, what do you think it would be?
A Third Strike.
Okay.
All right. So Third Strike. Oh well. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
I didn't say that.
Though. Huh?
I didn't say that.
Well, I mean, you said Street Fighter game or Capcom game.
Street Fighter game.
Well, I mean, it's either going to be Third Strike.
Mm-hmm.
Or Super Turbo. I mean, that's the only. Or no. I hope they don't do Alpha 3.
There's not a snowball's chance in hell that Super Turbo would be a main event.
All right, so Super
No
Turbo.
way.
And I hope the hell it's not Alpha 3. I think it's a shitty game, but.
No. No one plays Alpha 3.
Good.
But I did not say it was Third Strike, but.
Well, I mean, it's process of elimination, so, you know. Well, let me ask you this. Second Impact. No, I don't think so. No. Let me ask you this. Is one of the 4 games a 3D fighter that's not Virtua Fighter 5?
Now that's a dumb question because now you're really narrowing it down.
Not really. It could be actually a few games I could be talking about.
Yeah, they're going to have guys. That's going to be the game.
Well, let me know what I want to do this. I owe a favor to someone, so let me ask you straight out: is one of them Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection?
I can't answer these questions. I told you.
You can't answer them at all.
I can't spoil the whole tournament. They don't want to reveal all the information until FBO announces what their games are.
Then let me ask you this. Would we be happy with the 4 games that they chose? At least with some of the picks that they chose? Would the community be happy, not me?
I think the majority, well, first of all, the majority of the Street Fighter community will be happy.
Okay.
And I think that the serious 3D gamers will be happy.
Okay.
And I also think that, well, I mean, come on, it's a no-brainer what one of them is because you already know what the challenge is with Japan.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, duh, you know what one of them is already.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's obvious. You know.
But yeah, I mean, the games are good selections in my opinion. What they basically did was they took a look at their turnout for last year, the year before. They tried to see what games were getting the most entries, and they also tried to be fair and say, all right, well, that's fine, but if we're going to invite Japan, we might as well invite Japan to play games, that they actually play too. So they kind of took that in consideration too.
Well, I don't think it's spoiling it to say that Third Strike is going to be one of them. I mean, that's the one game that's been getting more people for the last few years, in America especially, and Japan still plays it like it's brand new. So I mean that's a no-brainer. On 3D fighters, I can see Virtua Fighter 5 being one of them. However, it's not going to be. I mean, if it's going to be a team tournament, I don't know if you're going to see very many teams for Virtua Fighter 5 on the American side.
Right. Remember what I said. The American 3D players will be very happy.
Well then, I hope that it is Tekken 5, or Tekken 5 DR, and I'm sure that the community. Since Texas is one of the Tekken heavens, Tekken head states, then they would be very happy if indeed that's one of them. And I'm sure they already say that Guilty Gear Accent Core is going to be there. So,
right. That's something that's already out there. That it would be pretty dumb to not say that's there when we already know.
However,
that's one of the challenges to Japan.
If my opinions changed a bit since I know the format, because I was just going to say it's going to be totally unfair because by the time this tournament happens in late April, most likely there won't be a console release before then. So it means basically it's Japan that has a 5-month head start versus U.S. has never played a game before. Not very fair. It's not fair.
I agree there.
And that was one of my. Really I thought it would be a great exhibition game. In fact, I will almost go far as to say they might as well just do a Japanese tournament for it and just leave it at that. Because what's the point of entering a game, that you've never played before?
Right. But then again, that's the cool thing because with the format that they have here, you're going to have a singles tournament of pretty much all people who have never played the game before playing each other.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to have a team tournament, and with the format that they have it's not going to be like one Japanese team against, one American team. It's actually going to be, maybe 1 or 2 Japanese teams against a whole bunch of American teams. So it's actually going to be interesting where it's not just going to be one event that's a slaughter. The American players will actually get to play each other and, get a hands-on feeling for the game. Now, I'm not saying they're going to beat the Japanese because I think they don't really have any chance. I think that's really unfair that the Japanese will have that head start. But at the same time, I think it's cool that, all right, we get to play a new game. Now we get to play the Japanese who are actually good at this by now, and we get to see what the top-level stuff is. I think that's pretty cool.
Hey, by the way, someone wanted me to ask you, does one of the 4 games have Spider-Man in it?
Spider-Man? Dude, when was the last time you ever saw Spider-Man selected in a fighting game? Come on. What a dumb question.
Well, that's what someone asked. Someone wanted to know. By the way, all right. Well, then can you tell us this? Someone asked a good question. Can you tell us which games are going to be that are being imported from Japan for this tournament?
Well, I can tell you what I know, and I can tell you what I'm speculating.
Okay.
I definitely know that Guilty Gear Accent Core will be there.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. Hold on, let me take a look here. See what else we specifically name dropped here. I think the only other game that was really specifically name dropped was, and this isn't a guarantee. Basically, what Texas Showdown is trying to do is form their tournament as like a both U.S. and Japanese event. And so it's like the reason they're really waiting for SBO's games to be announced is because they want to kind of feed off of that and say, oh, well, SBO's going to have these games. Well, guess what? We're going to have these games now. And some of the games that were thrown around, and I'm not guaranteeing you're going to be there because this was just some names we were throwing around. I mean, you got Soul Calibur 3, the new one. You know, I don't know what it's called, AC or something like that. That
really?
actually just missed the cutoff of SBO last year. So they're going to have that at SBO this year, and that might be one of the games at Texas Showdown. Another name that was thrown around was Virtua Fighter 5. I mean, that hasn't really had a serious tournament play yet, except for in Japan. It wasn't at SBO, so they're going to have it. What else? There was also mention of a new Melty Blood. I didn't even know there was a new Melty Blood.
I just heard about that, too. And I figured that was going to be... I actually honestly thought that might be one of the games that will be featured because although it's not very popular in the United States, I mean, it's catching on like wildfire in Japan.
Yeah. You'd be surprised, though. There are a lot of people I know in the United States that are interested in it and have been playing it.
So, I mean, it is an anime convention, and, I mean, you don't get more anime than Melty Blood.
Right. That's it. That's another thing. I mean, think about it this way. If you're at an anime convention with a bunch of people who love anime, and you have a bunch of Japanese games there, there's a higher chance of people to walk over and say, wow, this is pretty cool. I didn't know they had fighting games for this, and, you know, there were people who seriously play this stuff, and then they get to meet real Japanese people, and they'll probably be freaking out, and maybe it'll actually do some crossover interest. Maybe we'll get some more gamers seriously into the fighting game community this way.
So, I mean, by the way, I'm guessing now. Okay, they can. There's no way they're going to actually do this tournament without having Marvel there because that's something bigger than in American. Even though the Japanese don't play it.
I remember last year, out of all the tournaments, I believe Marvel had the second highest turnout.
Okay.
And Marvel's huge in Texas Showdown, man. Last year it was so huge. That was the only game last year where they did like pool play, and then after the pool play they had a reset bracket, and then after the reset bracket it was so serious, it was like ridiculous.
All right, that's good. That's good. I mean, it's By the way, but I don't mean to interrupt what you're. I just got some news that hit me like a telephone book. Virtua Fighter 5 will be released on Xbox 360. And they say late summer 2007. There's a formal announcement by Sega of America or Sega Japan. I don't know which one. And now here is the issue. I'm happy as all get out. I'm sure that most Xbox 360 owners are happy as all get out. Now here is this. Okay, obviously Sony must have a clause in there that says, okay, we want a 6-month head start. That may actually turn out to be their Achilles heel. Because from what I've seen in the past on Virtua Fighter fighters on the system, one system has one particular version, the other system has another particular version. So if it happens that Virtua Fighter 5, I know there's a version A already. So if let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Virtua Fighter 5 on PlayStation 3 is version B. 7 months later, it might be version C, and that's with the Xbox 360. And then you're going to see all the people jump ship and go to the Xbox 360 version because that'll be the newest version that's out. Unless Sony offers a downloadable patch for the game to update it to version C if there happens to come to that.
All right.
So I thought that was really interesting. So, all right.
I mean, I kind of see it the other way. I think that it's going to be a disadvantage for 360 owners because you're going to have these people who own it on PlayStation 3 since March playing it. If Evolution chooses to have it this year, that's going to be the only system it's going to be available on. you know. And if a later version does come out, well, that's great. But I do get the feeling that Sony might patch it or offer, an upgrade to get it to the next version anyway.
That's true, but you know what? But it makes things a little bit easier. Like I know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, the game is great, but for like people like me who hasn't ever really played the game, they probably wouldn't mind waiting 6 months. I mean, this isn't Marvel. This is not like we're getting another arcade perfect version of Marvel or anything.
I kind of understand that, but on the other hand, we got to realize we're in the age of tournaments where now it's like, wow, big money at EVO. You can win $5,000 for playing a game that no one fucking plays. I mean, look at Dead or Alive 4. And
that's true. That's true.
Disadvantage,
So I mean, for the so the consensus might be is that the players that are really good, that have a really shot of winning it. I mean, because I know there's a lot of people that's like still scratching their head that a game with only like 17 entries or something, someone just walked out with $5,000, and there's only like 17 entries. No, I mean so yeah, I mean I see. So for the serious people, but like for the people like me that even if they got it, as soon as it came out, would not have a snowball's chance in hell of winning Evolution. Probably be like, hey, I'll wait for 6-7 months. All right, so let me get you back to the Texas Showdown stuff. So let me go ahead and get you.
All right.
So what's up next on the agenda?
Well, from what I'm to understand, the prizes are not going to be top 8 like it was with Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason that it's not going to be like that is because, there's going to be a singles tournament and then a team tournament for the top 4 events. So you have more money that needs to be spread out. So that's why they're not doing it.
Okay.
But what I am told is that just like Evolution, there's going to be guaranteed prizes for places. It's not going to be based on the number of entries in the tournament. So, you get first place, you get a guaranteed pot. You're not like, oh, well, guess what, only 20 people entered, so you don't get anything. Oh, shit. So that's always a good thing. Now, not to say that every game is going to have the same pot. The top 4 games, those main event games, will have the same pot. But any game that's on, like, a side event, obviously is going to have a significantly less, money in the prize pool. But it is still a decent amount. It's not anything to shake your finger at. It's something that, it's a pretty decent prize. I would say probably the prizes would be around the same size as if you had one EVO East or EVO West in a tournament.
Okay.
So not too bad. Not too bad at all. What else? Let me take a look here at my file. You know what? I don't know why. I guess I don't know why I really couldn't say monetary amounts because that's just that's semantics, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm giving anything away. People know what the money is. It's not going to really detract people from coming. I think it's going to attract people to come. So, all right. Well, hold on. Let me get to the money here. All right. Here's what I was told. If it's a side event tournament, okay? So we're talking not one of the top 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
First prize would be $300. Second prize is $150, and third is $75.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because they're expecting, those tournaments might have maybe, 20, 30 entries. They're not going to have a huge amount. If you win the singles tournament for one of the top 4, let's see, where's that? It's right here. Oh, here it is. If you are playing one of the top 4 games, first place gets $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Second place gets $500, and third place gets $250.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if your team if your team wins the team challenges for the top 4 games, first place gets another $1,000, second place gets $500, and third place gets $250. So we're talking if you're a top player in one of these 4 games, you have potential to win, up to $1,000 in the singles, and then if your team does well, you could win another, $300-400.
Did they tell you how many is going to be on the team?
No. That is one thing that I actually forgot to ask them. I'm going to assume the team's probably going to be 3 people because that's how they always do it in Japan.
Okay.
That would just be my assumption because he says, again, they are trying to mimic a Japanese style. with their tournament. What else? See if there's anything else.
This will be good news for people who well, first I'm gonna start with the Marvel community. This will be the first tournament in I don't know, maybe it's not, but it's the first major tournament in a while. I can see that it's going to have Marvel on arcade. So I know that there's going to be some people that people probably be pretty stoked about that. I know the people in New York, Northeast would be stoked about that since that's what they practice on is at the arcade. So
right. Only thing I can see that Marvel players might complain about is that it's going to be on Japanese style cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it'll be American controls, but it's going to be on a Japanese style cabinet, and maybe they're not used to the kind of, the sit down kind of play. One thing I can say is that at TGA, where I play Marvel too, it is Japanese controls, but it is a little weird to play Marvel kind of, hunched over a little cabinet. I'm not used to that kind of style of playing Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, having American controls on that, I've never played American controls on a Japanese cabinet, so I have no idea what to expect.
Mm-hmm. Well, adapt. That's what great players do.
No, that's what Justin Wong does, and everyone else just complains.
Mm-hmm. Let's be glad it's not on PlayStation 2.
Well, I think that's one thing that's really good, having this tournament not on all our American cabinets, but on Japanese cabinets. I mean, let's face it, since games have gone to console, the majority of people that are not playing Marvel are playing on a Hori-style stick. MA sticks, back in the day, they were nice, but with all the problems we've had with them frying Dreamcasts over the years and the fact that they cost a fucking $150, it's ridiculous. And I think a lot of people have been converting over to the Hori sticks, which are Japanese style.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is really just along the lines of just kind of, or we see what's happening with the community rather than be stupid and just say, okay, we're going to cater to one group of gamers who want American controls. They see what most people are going to like, and they went ahead with that.
Nice. All right. A first question so from my question to you is, apparently you're excited about it, so you like the changes that they made. What's your projections? What do you think is how you think it's going to do next year?
Well, I can tell you, there's no way. The only thing I can see happening is the Marvel players. There might be a little bit of a backlash with Marvel because people might say, "Oh, we got to play on these Japanese cabinets and we're not used to it," and blah blah blah. So you might have a little bit of a reduction in the amount of Marvel players that come.
I don't know, but I mean, it's going to be it's going to be that way for everybody. It's not like someone's going to have the advantage. I mean,
that's true too. You're absolutely right. Most Marvel players aren't playing on a Japanese style cabinet with American controls, so you're right. Everyone will kind of be, around the same level.
It just means
it
just means that it's just going to be Justin Long's tournament again. So that's all it means.
Well, I don't know, because Justin didn't go to Texas Showdown for last year. And he hasn't really been going to a lot of the major tournaments, so maybe he won't go to this.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But then again, there's a lot of money at stake. Whenever there's money, Justin's there. So.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he ain't gonna come because I might be there, and he don't want to play me in Marvel. Because, like I said,
I don't know. I really like the changes. I think that compared to last year's turnout. Let me put it this way, for the major games, the top 4 games, I think the turnout will be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are going to come out in droves to play those 4 games. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the only complaint might be, again, with the control scheme of Marvel, and another complaint might be, oh, well, you chose these top 4 games for the main event, but now what about all the other people? Because, I'm going to also be honest, there's 1 or 2 games here that aren't in the top 4 that I was actually surprised. I said, there's a lot of interest in these games. A lot of people down south, I know for a fact, love to play these games. They were really good at attractions last year.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not in the top 4. I'm not sure how that's going to go over.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that there's still a chance that they will be there, I think is pretty good. I mean, honestly, the thing I'm most worried about is Super Turbo. I think that's the game in jeopardy of getting bumped. because it had, I think, second lowest turnout last year.
Mm-hmm.
The only games that had lower turnouts than Super Turbo were like Alpha 3 and Dead or Alive 4. And Dead or Alive 4 had like all of 4 people.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I was one of the 4 people. I think it was like 3 or 4 actual Dead or Alive players, and then it was me and Jason Cole.
Wow.
So that game, I mean, that community, let's be honest, Dead or Alive community pretty much buried their game. They're not going to get any major play at any major tournaments anymore. They're done. But they did that to themselves, so they have no one to blame but themselves. So Dead or Alive players enjoy playing on Xbox Live, lagging the shit all day. You did it to yourself. But yeah, I think that the changes are very positive. I think, if anything, the best addition to this tournament is that it's going to have an anime convention with it. Because, I mean, Evolution, sure, Evolution's cool because it's at a casino, you know, you can go gamble and drink. But a lot of the kids that go to that can't do that. You know, they're under 21. I would say probably about a third of the people that went to Evolution were under 21. So they were getting thrown out of the casino and, you know, getting harassed by the guards, and they were getting pissed off. This seems more of like something that could be potential to be a vacation for, you know, the younger crowd, especially since a lot of the younger crowd are already into things like, you know, manga and anime, and they already like that. This is just like a double thing for them. Well, now I get to go do that, and I get to go, you know, play games. I think that's pretty cool.
Well, I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that they're trying to differentiate themselves, get themselves out there, get themselves noticed, and you know, of course, I'm all for, you know, tournaments, and it's nice to. It only makes Evolution better when there's other tournaments that tries to, you know, makes itself, you know, good. It tries to raise the standard a bit. You know, so.
Right. I mean, that's. To be completely honest, that's really what Evolution needs. Evolution needs competition. Because ever since Evolution came out in 2002 and said, okay, we are the national fighting game tournament, they really haven't had any competition. You've had, you know, tournaments like ECC and Texas Showdown and, you know, NEC, but, you know, Midwest Championships as well. But these tournaments were nowhere near the caliber of Evolution. Prize-wise, you know, space-wise, they just didn't have the resources. Mm-hmm. Now we finally have another tournament that's taken a different spin on the fighting game competitive scene, and they're actually, I think, with what they're doing by teaming up with the anime convention, they're going to give Evolution a run for its money, and now maybe we'll actually see some competition, and we'll see some, you know, okay, how can we upstage them? We got to do something different. So, you know, this is kind of interesting, too, because Texas Showdown has really been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to announce what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And Evolution, I happen to know that Evolution is actually right now in its planning stages for 2007. Mm-hmm. So that, you know, maybe now Evolution's going to have to take a step back and say, oh shit, you know, we didn't know that they were going to try to do this, and this is probably the first major tournament where they're going to have as many, if not more, Japanese players at it than Evolution ever has. Mm-hmm. And maybe Evolution's going to have to try to figure out a way to get the interest back. Just because, you know, sure, Evolution's a cool singles tournament, but outside of the singles tournament, there's really nothing to do. And that was one of the major gripes with Evolution this year was that, oh man, you know, it was great to play in the tournament, but when I was done in the tournament, I didn't have shit to do. You know, there wasn't enough casual play. Everything was all blocked off. We couldn't play, you know, in our hotel rooms because the hotel rooms had fucking blocked inputs on the TVs. So it was either sit in our fucking hotel rooms and smoke up, or stand around the fucking room and do nothing because you don't want to wait 3 hours to play a single game of casuals. So now you got Texas Showdown, who has recognized that there is a problem with tournaments like that, and they're teaming up with a convention that's going to give you something to do while you're bored.
Right. I think that it's definitely a niche that they've got with the whole team thing. I thought that was a really good idea because I can't really think the last time where team tournaments were predominantly featured, and that's always been a Japanese culture. And so it's nice to see that there's going to be a tournament, especially a well-known tournament to American players that will feature this. And I think that hopefully, well, next year I'm not too terribly worried on the Japanese coming back because first of all, they got their asses handed to them in a couple games that they thought they would have going to take easily. And so, and and that's the thing that I hope that the players that place well at this past year's evolution is not going to sit on their laurels, because, I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of Japanese players who thought that, you know, evolution was just a tournament to go to just take people's money and go back home, you know. And now we put up a fight, a really good fight. In fact, a couple of players got embarrassed by American players. So, and then
outside of Anniversary Edition, what games do you think we embarrassed them in?
I think Third Strike we got them good in. I mean, now I know that they won Third Strike, but still, it's like, but it was interesting, you know, to see that what's his face? I just drew a blank up the top because I'm tired. You know, didn't make. he didn't even make top 5. Not top. I mean.
Oh, are you talking about Daigo?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Dude, now this is coming from someone who has seen Daigo play before, and you know, I've watched his videos. I've seen him play at previous evolutions, and seeing him play this year. Dude, he sucks this year. It wasn't that he was, you know, walking in there on the top of his game. This guy hasn't. I could tell just from watching him play, he hasn't been playing. And the way that fucking Alex Valle punked him in the tournament was just ridiculous. In the old days, that would never happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, to say that, okay, maybe we beat Daigo, but let's be honest here. Well, out of the top 8, how many players were American of Third Strike?
Right.
And
and I think that one of the biggest reasons, well, at least when I was talking to Alex about it, he says that we're not used to playing against Yoon, and we're going to have to do something about that. And because we only have a couple of people that play Yoon very well. And so, I mean, to me, I mean, I have no interest in learning Third Strike, because it's like, okay, every game has tiers. That game, the tier is like taken to another level. It's like, I mean, it's you know, like, for example, even in Marvel, you know, you can fuck up Sentinel. You can fuck up, you know, Magneto. I mean,
in
if
Marvel,
you're good enough.
there are tiers, but in Marvel, it's like, okay, there are tiers, but I can pick 7 different combinations of the top tier, and they all play differently.
Right, but
Third Strike, it's like, it's not a team. It's 3 characters that dominate the game, and you will pick one of them, or you will lose.
Right. But at the same time, though, you can't pick one character where there is no real character that can mess with them. That's just not true. And that's the thing. I mean, from what Alex told me, and from what I gathered, you really doesn't have any real weaknesses to speak of. He's all around a great player, and he's like, and Valle told me that the only character that really can, you know, has a really good chance of, you know, knock out Yoon is like Makoto, and like hardly anyone plays her because she has really bad matchups with other characters.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's counter to shit.
Right. So back to square one. So. But
I don't know. I think that Ken really does well against Yun. I just think that, or Yoon, or whatever you call him. I just think that a lot of people, just like Alex said, you know, there aren't a lot of top level Yoon players in the U.S. And the reason behind that is Yoon is a character where really he doesn't have a lot of ridiculous priority moves. It's more like setups, and then you get that super. You need to know what to do with that super in every situation in order to get your damage and to build your level up to do it again. He's really a character that takes a lot of patience and a lot of practice in training mode to learn those juggles and learn the variations. And I think that the majority of U.S. players, you know, since there's been a resurgence in this game, which is 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, you know, they really haven't had the time and experience to play with someone like you. Especially if you're someone who, you know, you're just getting into Third Strike now. Who are you going to pick? Are you going to pick a character who has nothing like any other Street Fighter game? No, you're probably going to go and run and pick Ken or Ryu, or, you know, someone who's similar to an older Street Fighter. You know, it's an interesting point because I always complain. When I go to tournaments, I always say, what the fuck, man? Stupid Chun-Li, she's so overpowered. It's bullshit. And then people are like, oh, well, she's good, but, you know, she takes a lot of skill to play. I'm like, dude, get out of here, because I've played Chun-Li before. She's easy to fucking play. You dance around, you do a couple normals till you get a super, you know, just survive till you get a super, and now you dominate the entire fucking match until you combo that super. And they're like, oh, well, if that's true and she's so overpowered, well, why doesn't she win every tournament? You know, why aren't there so many more Chun-Li players? And you know why there really aren't? And it took me a while to figure this out. Is because Chun-Li is a character who doesn't play like any other Street Fighter character. She doesn't have an uppercut. She doesn't have a, charge move. She's totally different from older Street Fighter. Mm-hmm. So when you get someone who's played other Street Fighter games, they're going to run to the characters they're familiar with. They're going to run to Ryu and Ken. Why do you think you see 700 Kens in every fucking Third Strike tournament, and they all suck? It's just people like, oh, I know how to play with Ken. I'll just fucking pick them. They don't know what they're doing. Yun is just a character that takes so much practice and so much execution that a lot of players don't have the time. And the only person in the U.S. who really has a good Yun is Pyroly. And why is that? Because he fucking picked Yun from day one. That was the character who he chose. He said, I'm going to stick with this guy and, practice with him. I'm going to go to SDO and I'm going to do all this stuff. And because of that, he is the best Third Strike player in the country. Mm-hmm. It's going to be really hard for us to catch up with Japan when they've basically found the best overall character and practiced with him for years and years, and we are kind of starting years late. It's like we have lag time. It's like, fuck, how are we going to gain all that tournament experience that they already have? I don't know how we can catch that up, especially when we have barely any tournaments.
Right. Switch gears a bit. That isn't going back to that announcement for Virtua Fighter 5 Xbox 360. That does raise the potential that Microsoft will sponsor Virtua Fighter 5 tournaments. So that might be something to like for Virtua Fighter 5 players out there, or for Virtua Fighter 5 wannabe players. That's something you might want to think about.
Oh my god. Online play that doesn't lag?
I mean, you know what? That's another thing. I never didn't even figure it out if there's going to be online play. I don't even think it said so in its press release. Although I highly doubt that it doesn't. So, that would be really interesting.
Especially on PS3, because PS3 doesn't have any fighters, except for Virtua Fighter 5. I'm waiting to see if maybe Sony can figure out what Xbox has been fucking up all along and fix the problem and have no lag with their Virtua Fighter 5.
I remember reading an interview where it stated that it's impossible to play Virtua Fighter 5 online because they said that one frame makes all the difference in the world for some moves. So, I mean, that's what they said. I mean, I don't know how true it is because I'm not a Virtua Fighter 5 player. I'm not a Virtua Fighter player, period. So.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on for 1 sec.
Mm-hmm.
There's other people that wants to get on the show.
Mm-hmm.
You can stay if you want. I mean, but if you got to go, I understand, because I know it's almost midnight your time.
Yeah, man, I got work at 9 o'clock tomorrow. So, I mean, what do you guys? Who's coming? Who's getting on? Who's going to talk?
Well, there's a guy from Brazil that wants to get on. He's going to get on through Skype though, and then of course the Love Doctor. Dr. Incognegro.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he wants to call in as well.
So whatever happened to Bronson? I thought he was going to get on so we could talk shit to each other, and he pussied out of that, huh?
Yeah, he came on a couple of times, and I mean, I really appreciate it. I haven't been able, this week I haven't done really anything for the radio because I've been so busy with work, but
yeah.
But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get him back on. It was kind of fun having him on.
How's work going, by the way?
It's going good. I'm actually mystery shopping several stores. I got to do some more tomorrow. I've done 7 so far, and I'm going to do about 5 or 6 more tomorrow. and it's gonna be it's working out okay. I mean, my legs hurt because I have to do. I mean, this is all with no car, and I have to walk. You know, occasionally catch the bus in between these centers, in between these stores. So it's pretty cool. But it's pretty cool though. Time goes by quickly.
Hey, you're getting paid for it, and that's all that matters, right?
That's true. That is true. You're right about that. So,
oh man. All right. Well, Bronson Tran, you're a wimp, and you pussied out. So deal with it, bitch. All right. Well, before I get off, I guess I'll just kind of say a couple quick things. I do want to say that in 2007, there's going to be some new stuff going on. One of the things that I do know is going to happen is that Chinatown Fair will close in the year 2007. I guarantee it. 100%. I have confirmation on that. Chinatown Fair will be closing in 2007. Now, as for an exact time frame, I don't know. But I do know that it's going to be, this is it. This is its last run. I guess the owner really wants to get out of it, and there's really no one else that's really picking up the reins. So that's going to be it for Chinatown Fair. So New York players are going to have to go elsewhere to find their games. And I do know of two different places. Obviously, there's that NYC Clan place. It's a place that the Empire is endorsing. And from what I'm to understand, they're going to be having games on Friday nights. But also there's a new place. Well, it's not really new. It's been around for a while. It's called Web2 Zone. They're a LAN center, and also they have several console stations and things like that. And I did promise someone that I would talk, just mention it, because they are going to be having things coming up in February. They're going to have Saturdays where fighting game players can just come in and pay $10 and pretty much just play fighting games all day. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. They're also going to start doing Ranbats because a lot of the tournaments that have been going on in the Northeast have been shutting down. There was one in New Jersey called GDT. That just shut down because the owner basically backed out and he's not going to own that place anymore. Mm-hmm. So there will be places to look on the East Coast. If you are, in the tri-state area, or if you are interested in coming to the East Coast for tournaments, don't worry if you hear rumors that Chinatown Fair is closing, because there are going to be alternatives this year. And one other thing that I do want to say is that 2007 is going to be a very interesting year, because I'm going to bring back, I've decided finally I am going to bring back my website, which a lot of people do know about. Used to be called TopHaters.com. Yeah, Top Haters. I don't know if I'm going to call it that.
I thought you created that site as an antagonist to the other site I used to host. Remember I used to have the site TopPlayers.com?
Yeah, man, that's what it was. It was a swing off of that.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if that was intentional or not, but all right.
Oh, it was definitely intentional, because I had beef with a lot of the people that were on TopPlayers.com.
Oh, okay.
And they were always fucking walking around like their shit didn't stink, like they're the fucking best players in the world. And I just shot them down a peg. I completely parodied their website, and I got like twice as many hits that they ever got. So it was pretty fucking funny. But the reason that I really am bringing back my website is because there's been a lot of issues with things going on SureYouCan.com. With things that I've been saying, with things that Triforce has said. We've been going back and forth and totally destroying, threads about NEC and shit. And, I do have to take a step back and say that, that is wrong. We shouldn't be doing that. So I did make a promise to the people that own SRK that if I was going to, start these things, that I would not do it on their website. So guess what? Now there is going to be a place. And I can tell you that I am going to go back to the way I used to be 3 years ago. 3 long years ago, when I made the Devolution video, the Top Haters promo, and, I had the fucking articles about how I hate coast players and all that bullshit. It's all coming back, but it's going to be better. Coming up in TGA this month, there's a TGA tournament January 6th. We're actually going to be filming footage for the first promotional video to hit the website, and I think it's going to be pretty fucking funny. We already have a whole thing. It's going to be nuts, let's put it that way. So, anyone who used to be a fan, get ready, because 2007 it's coming back. It's going to fucking take shit over just like it used to. And as you know, I don't hold back. I don't hold any punches. So I'm going to go ahead and do whatever the fuck I want. And people can cry about it all they want to, but that's tough shit.
I have an announcement of my own. At first, earlier this week, I thought that dustloop.com was going to close. Turns out it's not. They're just restructuring it, you know. But at first, when I thought they were going to close, I registered forcebreak.com because forcebreak is one of the new features in Guilty Gear. It's basically Guilty Gear's code word for EX moves. So, but now that Dustloop is staying, two options. I can let the domain sit, or I can do something with it that's Guilty Gear related. So, I would like you guys' feedback on what you think I should do with the domain. Now, don't give me. I can never compete with Dustloop. That's not the point. I'm not going to go on Dustloop and spam like come to Force Break. That's stupid. That's not the whole point. However, I'm a Guilty Gear fan, and what I wanted to do was to tie in the site with the show. So, like, and because I think Guilty Gear needs more needs more airtime. Because I mean, Marvel gets its airtime, Third Strike gets their airtime, but Guilty Gear I very rarely have Guilty Gear players on the show. So, I want to give the show this proper due. I think that Accent Core is going to be a great game. Hopefully, we'll see a stateside release of it. So, I own forcebreak.com, .net, and .org. That's all mine. So that's just something to think about, you know.
Hey man, why don't you once Accent Core hits the U.S. and everyone's playing it, since you own the website, you might as well do something with it and maybe have like a once a week or once every 2 weeks, maybe a radio show to discuss the game or something. Get some Guilty Gear players on it and just
rename it from AlphaISM Radio to Force Break Radio. Yeah, that'll do good.
No. AlphaISM Radio is fine how it is. I'm just saying that maybe this is something you could do on the side. I mean, I myself don't play Guilty Gear and I don't know shit about it, but
you
there are a lot of
you
players
should.
out there.
It's all about the shepherd and the sheep. You are a shepherd. You know, people respect you as a gamer. They may not respect you as a person, but they respect you as a gamer. They respect you as a competitor.
Don't respect me as a person. What the fuck does that mean?
I mean, there's some people. You know what I mean. You know, but you know, I mean, you know, people might say whatever they might about you personally as a person, but you know, you know, I mean, there's no doubt that you're one of the top players in the country in Super Turbo. But what I'm saying is, what we need is a few of the top players to pick up Guilty Gear, and the sheep will follow. I don't know.
All right, well,
I don't know why I gotta convince you to take up the game. Well. First of all, it's not like it's easy to play right now. Like even if you agree to play Accent Core, you know. But hopefully, if it does come out in this country, and you don't need to jump through 250 hoops, you know, buy a PlayStation 2 and get the mod, get the flip top, and install the flip top, and then go buy the Japanese version.
I have 4 PlayStations. I had a flip top PlayStation, and then when fucking Guilty Gear XX Slash finally came out, I was gonna buy it, and my flip top broke. It started eating discs. I was like, what the fuck? I put a brand new copy of what was it, Dragon Quest 8 or whatever the newest one was. I put it in there, and it booted up, and I heard the fucking big ass scratching sound. I opened it up, it was destroyed. There was a fucking huge scratch on it, motherfucker. Brand new game. I didn't even get to fucking play it.
Well, then I want your promise that if the game comes out in the States and you don't have to go through 250 hoops to play it, that you at least make a concerted effort to play the game.
Dude, if Guilty Gear XX and Guilty Gear Slash had come out in the States, I would have had them already.
Okay, good. So if Accent Core comes out,
I own Tekken 5.
Okay, well, so I'm asking you though is if the game comes out in the States, you'll pick it up and you'll play it seriously, and if there's somehow to be competition near you, you wouldn't mind, you know, learning the game on a competitive level.
I already know that there was a whole group of players who was going to those Randbats in New Jersey when they existed,
and they all play Guilty Gear. I mean, I know I would get some competition.
Well,
the fact is that it's part of a game to play, man.
Oh, well, good. So you don't have to now. Mind you that if you do play Guilty Gear Accent Core, it does not mean that you became a homosexual. It does not mean that you are a cosplayer.
Oh, dude. If I play Guilty Gear Accent Core, I'm bringing the fucking manliness back to that community, man.
Good. Bring the manliness back. Get ripped. Have a ripped body like Arnold Schwarzenegger had in Conan the Barbarian or something. It's like, bring back the manliness. Take out the infeminism. And be like, okay, this is a man's body. Testament does not have a man's body. Kai doesn't have a man's body. Soul has a man's body. There's nothing really wrong. There's nothing really wrong with Soul, actually. He's a normal character, in fact.
I think he wears mascara, though.
He just got thick eyebrows. That's what it is. Yeah, that's all it is.
I don't know, man. Why can't they put one normal fucking male character in that game? Why does it all gotta be like?
What's so abnormal about Kai?
The main character?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really abnormally wrong with him.
He's a faggot.
Oh, great.
He's a generic anime faggot.
Oh, so he's a faggot.
He's a faggot. Character.
Like
he's the main character of like the past 25 Final Fantasies. They're all the fucking same generic, super fucking skinny ass cut Japanese retardo with a fucking stupid sticky hair. Yo, he's a fucking faggot. Put a normal character in there.
Alright. So biking's not normal? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Any girl with only one leg and one arm, that ain't normal. one arm and one eye. Yeah, that's not normal. I'm trying to think. Zappa certainly doesn't fit normal. I know it's not bad. She has a talking hat, but there ain't nothing wrong with that.
Who are you talking about?
I know, whichever version you like to pronounce it as.
Oh, well, she's a slut. That's fine. I'm okay with sluts.
I'm glad.
All day.
I'm glad. Because she has such lofty standards on the ladies. Amelia, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with Amelia.
Amelia, she's kind of boring. She's like a fucking corny-ass kabuki kind of a deal,
She wears She wears a short-ass skirt. What more do you want?
Dude, first of all, it's a video game, all right? It's not real life. I'm not going to jerk off the fucking Guilty Gear.
You don't?
I could care less. No, I don't. Sorry. I don't jerk off the video games. So, no, I'm not going to get excited about a female character short dress in a video game.
Okay.
I mean, if they would just give me a normal fucking character to play,
what do you define as normal? What do you define as normal? Because you just said that Amelia is boring. Well, I can say that Ryu is boring too.
Yeah, but Ryu's the fucking first fighter from any fighting game. He's supposed to be boring. He's supposed to be.
He also supposed
generic.
To be 226 years old by now. He should be an old man. He should be throwing fireballs with a cane.
Dude, even if that's not true, because think about it. Even if Street Fighter 1 technically happened in, 1987, 88 when it came out, it's only been 20 years, so if he was 20-something, now he's 40-something. You're telling me there's no fit 40-year-olds who can fight?
Okay, got a point there. Blanca is normal. Blanca is normal.
Blanca's not normal, but he doesn't look like a fucking anime character. He looks like a monster. He was interesting in Street Fighter 2.
Okay. And
you can play Street Fighter, and you can honestly pick any character in the game, and except for Vega, because Vega was the one fucking the guy that had to cross the line. But you can pick anyone in that game and say, wow, these are all normal characters.
I wish that they would have made Street Fighter 2 within the last 5 years or so. So instead of the head bashing move that Balrog has, he just bites in your ear. That would have been cool. I don't know, man. Sagat looked like he had anorexia in Street Fighter 2. The dude was bone-ass skinny.
But that's what TIE fighters really look like.
I know, but damn dude. He must wear a size 1.
And make them, the characters in the original Street Fighter 2 are realistic. Now, sure, you can't throw flame out of your hands in real life, but look at them. They tried to draw them so, no, they don't look like fucking anime. They look like kind of a realistic turn. And if you were to see a fighting tournament,
I don't know about you, but I've seen some people that look like Testament.
Yeah, and I don't want to know those people.
No, I mean, come on, now. It's not bad, you know. Okay, I mean, but the whole point of Guilty Gear is that it's out of this world. It's not supposed to be a normal thing about, you know. It's
the whole point of Guilty Gear is it's a fighting game that's trying to cash in on anime fans. It's trying to lure people who like the anime and manga style of artwork and try to get them to play a game. That's all it is.
All I know is that Testament
the engine is actually good.
That's all I have to say is that Testament Succubus, or the lady that you know that comes out with the skull hits you, and she's sexy. So anyway, all right. So,
okay, buddy.
Thank you for the information on Texas Showdown. I really do appreciate it as always, DSP.
You know, if I ever have a scoop, I'm going to come on here and tell you about it, because this is a really good radio show. It's a way to get information out without officially spilling the beans, you know what I mean? Like right now, at least there are people that were worried about Texas Showdown. There's going to be a lot of positive vibe about Texas Showdown going around, but I didn't really spoil anything, you know what I mean? Like there's still going to be, when the website goes up, there's going to be excitement about, ooh, what are the games, you know, what's the schedule like, blah, blah, blah. So I think this is a really good venue to go on and try to spread information without, you know, kind of ruining stuff for certain people. So. And I have to plug my new website, even though I don't know what the name of it is yet. So.
It's not going to be tophaters.com?
You know, I thought about bringing back just tophaters.com, but I don't know. Now that I've said this, someone's probably going to run out and buy that domain like an asshole anyway.
Yeah, so actually, I was just thinking about that. Maybe you should not say it because someone might decide to put some hate on you and buy the domain.
I've definitely got a couple ideas, and I actually have a theme that it's a very familiar thing. People are going to recognize it, and some people are going to be like, oh brother. But I think it's something that's it's something that everyone can kind of I don't even know how to explain it. But it's something that everyone's going to recognize and say, okay, now I get where they're going. And it's going to be cool. It's going to be better than what it was. I mean, the website just used to basically be me making fun of people and ranting about movies and shit that I didn't like. It's going to be better. It's not just going to be me anymore. I'm going to involve other people in the community. I'm going to get things going. I'm going to make videos. It's going to be totally blowing out of the water what Top Haters used to be.
By the way, someone wants to talk to you. Hold on for a sec.
Who's this?
Hello?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, what it be like, Pip?
What's going on, man? Tell me what's good, Chief.
Well, I got an echo.
You got an echo?
Yeah, I got an echo.
Yeah, that's the bad part about calling people through Skype. Is that better?
Well, I'll deal with it. So is DSP still around?
Yeah, I think he's there.
You there? Let me hear you, man.
ESP? Bill?
Hey, what's up?
Man, okay. I hear you bashing, you know what I'm saying, Guilty Gear. You can't do that, man. It's a great game. You know, I mean, if you're talking about outside of Street Fighter being a legend, of course, you know, you can't fuck with that. You can't get close to it. You know, it's the original. But, I mean, when you talk about day and age games, you know, you have Marvel being number one, in my personal opinion. Marvel being number one, Tekken being number two, and then Guilty Gear being number three, and then Third Strike. And I guess you can throw CVS 2 Born Match gameplay in there too, also. But I mean, you can't knock them. I mean, it's a great fucking game. I mean, from beginning to end.
What the hell was that? Are you choking a cat or something, man?
Nope, I got a baby.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you've been busy.
No, I
Yeah.
never knocked
get
Guilty
pussy
Gear as a
while
game. I never said
I
that.
play Marvel, then afterwards I get pussy. Yeah,
And
that's what I
kids.
do.
They come out of those.
That's a lethal combination.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I never knocked Guilty Gear as a game. I never said that the game sucks and, you know, it's not worthy of tournament play.
You just believe everybody that plays it are fags or class of homosexuals.
I did not say that. I said a lot of them are.
Well, I mean, the thing is, that's what I heard. I heard you call everyone who played Guilty Gear basically faggots. I mean, that's what I heard.
No.
I may be wrong.
That's
that's what I heard.
I know a lot of people who play Guilty Gear who are not faggots. Let's put it that way. But why is it that with this particular game, there seems to be a lot of fucking weirdos hanging out, you know, in this community? I don't get it. But, you know, I do get it. And again, it's what I said. It's because the game itself, the way that they designed the characters in the game was geared towards anime people, you know, anime fans.
Well, I think it's more than that. I think that one of the things about Guilty Gear is that Guilty Gear has a cast of outcasts. Like, all of them got really bad stories. Or something about them is really weird that can cause them to be an outcast, you know. Like, Zappo is possessed by this girl from the ring, and he fights bent over backwards, facing the other way. I mean, that's just, I don't know.
I mean, you know, really, if you play it, you know, I can see what you're talking about. They try to go for the anime, damn, it's kind of, it's hard to talk with fucking Echo. I can understand when they go for the anime people. You know, people who love anime, so forth and so on. I mean, the game, just off that point alone, just, you know that the characters are very creative, the story's very creative, everything about it is original. You know, it's not a copy, it's not a Street Fighter 2 remake, you know, version 5.6, whatever the fuck they're on now. You know, it's not like that. It's a completely different engine, completely different game, and it's good. It's really good. I mean, it's well balanced. On top of that, as the versions go along, it gets well balanced. You know.
Do you still get an echo?
Yeah, I hear the echo like a mile away.
All right. I'm sorry. I tried my best, man.
I'm waiting for my girl to get here because she took my cell phone in the car with her. So I'm just waiting for her to get here to call back and, you know, get rid of that.
All right, now let me ask you this. You know, you like Guilty Gear a lot, obviously, but you just said a couple things that I disagree with. You said that it's a completely original game and all that. Let me ask you a question. Did you play any of the old Versus series? You know, like, did you play Marvel vs. Capcom 1 ever? Have you ever played some of those older Versus series games?
I play all
now, how are you gonna,
all Street Fighter,
all
Marvel.
Now, how are you going to tell me with a straight face that Guilty Gear did not copy a lot of the stuff in that game engine from a game like Marvel 1?
Okay. I want to answer that question because I'll say it this much. I really don't think Guilty Gear I mean, if you really want to come down to it, you can say that Street Fighter copied from Super Mario Bros. Because it has jumping in it. I mean, if you really want to get down to it, I mean, ideas are copied all the time. You know.
Oh man, Guilty Gear copied Super Mario Brothers.
I mean, but I mean, Guilty Gear isn't blatant. I mean, when I play Guilty Gear, I never get the sense, oh my gosh, this is a Street Fighter rehash. Unlike certain other games like
World Warrior,
Fighters History.
What's the name of that one game I played? It was
Fighters History, which is the one that Capcom actually sued them over because it's like, man, you took you basically used our characters with different hairstyles.
Yeah, it was World Warrior.
It was World Warrior. That was the time that was out, you know. But it's like, I think what Guilty Gear realized, I don't know if it's really, we're talking about, Guilty Gear, the original Guilty Gear came out before the Marvel series came out.
That's very true.
So to say that it copied off from the Marvel series would be...
and the original Guilty Gear played nothing like it does today.
I mean, right.
No, actually, that's not very true. That's not true. No, because the original Guilty Gear, because I do own a copy of it, plays very similar to what it does today. The only difference is that it advanced the combo Gatling host spell. Because back in the original Guilty Gear, the way you used to combo would be like punch, hard slash, and then into a move, you know. And then now it's different where it's like punch kick slash, or slash, whatever, you know. And then, you know, of course, you can't say that, Guilty Gear took away from Street Fighter, took something from Street Fighter by saying, they put the fireball motion in there, or the charge motion in there.
No. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking that it stole basic motions, because every fighting game has the same motions. I'm talking about gameplay mechanics.
Okay.
I mean, if you play Marvel 1 at a top level, all right? Let me explain.
Well, I'm going to ask, are you trying to say that because Guilty Gear has a dash in it that they copied off from the Marvel?
No.
Okay.
Again, there's a lot of games that have dashing, too, but the basic gameplay mechanics of Guilty Gear and Marvel 1 are
nowhere similar. It's not similar.
Are you crazy? It's the same.
You
there are a
can't.
couple characters.
It's not similar at all. The properties are completely different. The combo system is completely different. To tell you the truth, it came out before the Marvel series, and actually, if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the first combo Gatling games fighting games that came out that was actually popular. There was a couple that came out that was I can't remember no name. I can't even tell you their name. But it was before the Marvel series even came out. So how can you say it copied off of it?
But okay, here's the thing is if you're gonna say it depends on how strict you want to be. If you're gonna say that Guilty Gear has a super jump, Marvel or the Marvel game engine has a super jump, then you would be right.
Yeah.
But but that's really basic similarities because first of all, super jumps aren't used nearly as often in Guilty Gear that it is used in Marvel. A lot of the combos use jump cancels, normal jump cancels. And then again in Guilty Gear there's a launcher, in Marvel there's a launcher. But the thing about the Guilty Gear launchers is A, they're overheads. B, you can't copy into the launchers for most characters. So the launchers are actually work a little bit different than Guilty Gear. It's not you're not gathering a combo and entering in a launcher to give into another air combo. Usually when you got someone locked down, you use a launcher because it's an overhead.
And then what you do after that is to cross them up.
Right,
and that's all it was there for.
But to say that they're similar, they're no more. To me, it is no more similar than it is with any other fighting game that
in Tekken and Virtual Fighter.
It has really, really unique properties. Burst, dead angle attacks, wall bounce.
All right.
You don't. A lot of that stuff is unique to Guilty Gear that I don't really see it in any other fighter. So I don't know if I will buy it as copying off of it. I think some basic ideas might have been copied, but that's guilty on everybody. I don't think there's any game out today that says that it doesn't use an idea.
But here's the thing. Now, I agree with you. I think that Guilty Gear has a lot of original things in it, too, and that's why it's been successful. The Roman cancels and, like you said, the burst and all that. That's actually original stuff. But when you come down to it, and again, I used to be a top Marvel 1 player. I was ranked 5th in the world. I played that game probably more than anyone else. The gameplay mechanics of Guilty Gear and Marvel 1 are actually extremely similar. The difference is that when I play Marvel 1, there are actually characters in that game that I want to select. I think it's cool to play as Wolverine, or Chun-Li, the classic Street Fighter character. When I play Guilty Gear, I have absolutely no attraction to anyone on that fucking character select screen. Because I don't like gothic fucking anime. You know what I mean?
It's an unfair comparison because, first of all, Marvel was predominantly made for the American community.
Well, hold on. Can I say something real quick, and then I'll let you keep going?
Okay, go ahead.
For you to say that the reason why you like playing the Marvel series or whatever because you wanted to pick Wolverine, is this the same as you saying, oh, they made a game so that way people will play these characters because they're anime characters? The exact same thing. It's a market. The game costs money for a reason, and the reason why they want you to buy it is so that way you can make money. Now they know in the U.S. if you put X-Men characters in a game, people are going to want to play. the thing about it is, it's a Japan-based game. So they put Japan-based like type characters for people to be attracted to the game to play. You know, that's the reason why, primary reason why it didn't come out in the U.S. It's because it's a Japanese like targeted game, or you know, Asian targeted game. I don't want to discriminate, I guess, but it's the same thing. You know, so when you bring Guilty Gear over here and saying that hey, weirdos play the game or anime fans play the game, it's because those same type of people are the same type of people in Japan. I'm a big fucking anime fan. I love anime. And I like Guilty Gear attracted me is because it had original characters. Because it didn't have Wolverine. It didn't have Storm. It didn't have Juggernaut. You know, it was like, oh, this is something different than something that we always play. And then when I played it, I was like, hey, the combos are not the same. You know, what? Okay, now it's a totally different system. And then now after I play that system, I'm like, hey, this system works. This is very, very good game. You know, I hated CVS 2, and it had a lot of my favorite characters. You know, Akuma and a couple other characters. I don't even want to really name them. But, you know, it's characters I wanted to play. But the system in CVS 2 is shitty. It's crap. It's a boring game. It's a gameplay.
Well, that's your opinion on
that's all it's
that's
about.
your opinion on the gameplay. You know, that's really. I have no issue with the gameplay in Guilty Gear. It would be stupid for me to say the gameplay in Guilty Gear sucks because I'm drawing similarities between it and one of the games that I was one of the best at.
But
I just think
I
the
don't
problem.
But see, here's the thing about it is, I'll tell you the problem. What I see is, you're known as a really good player, as one of the best in Marvel 1. But for you to you're making a comparison to a game that you haven't played competitively. You know what I'm saying? You know, so
right.
For me, I don't know.
Just because
You're making you're forming an opinion based on, you know, maybe I'm sure you play Guilty Gear somewhere down the line, but to say that it's like that game, that wouldn't be very fair, because unless you play the game on a higher level like you did in Marvel 1, I mean, because once you play it on a higher level, it's like with any game, it's a completely different animal when you play on a higher level.
Hey, I'm going to call you back like 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yo, DSP, don't go anywhere. Can you stay like 10 minutes?
I'm gonna have to take off soon, man. I gotta hit the sack. I got work in the morning.
All right. Well, I'll be back in like 5 or 10. I'll stay 10 minutes, and you know, we can continue this. You know, y'all talk for 10 minutes. You know, and I'll be right back. I gotta straighten you out about the situation.
All right, man.
All right.
No, but I'm just saying this. I mean, to me, since I played Marvel 1 and I played Guilty Gear, and even though I'm not a top player, I know the basic mechanics. To me, besides really basic things like jumping and the fact that both have combos, I don't think they're anything alike. I mean, I honestly don't think so. There's things that
it's interesting that you mentioned top level play, because the normal play in Marvel 1 is nothing like Guilty Gear at all. But top level play in Marvel 1, you know, the dashing, the link combo into a launcher, into a juggle combo in the corner, or, you know, it's actually very similar to Guilty Gear play. Top level play is.
But now, Guilty Gear is not the only game to feature dashing nor having combos in the corner.
Again, you're missing my point. My point is not that there's a dash and there's a combo. The point is the basic gameplay of each game is extremely similar. The goal is to get to your opponent, dash to them, do a multiple hit combo into maybe a launch or a reset, and to do massive damage with it, basically.
So
and
in
Marvel 1,
well, you're just saying
in Marvel 1, it's more similar to Guilty Gear, because in Marvel 1 there were characters like Mega Man who actually could throw 700 things on the fucking screen. How Foss can throw 700 projectiles on the screen. You know what I mean? It had a lot of variety of play in it.
So you're saying that Guilty Gear and Marvel 1 are similar because both of them are very offensive minded. That it's not about unlike Marvel 2, which have
unlike
characters
CVS 2, where
that
it's
you
a
can
fucking
keep
complete
away.
turtle game.
Huh?
Or unlike Marvel 2, where it's a game based around
turtling and defensive moves. If you're going to say that Marvel 1 and Guilty Gear are similar, that they're very offensive based and that's how you win, then I will agree with that. I mean, definitely. I mean, in fact, I say Guilty Gear takes it a step farther because if you do try to turtle, you lose your super bar, your tension bar. So, so I will say in that instance, I do agree, and that's a plus to both games because in recent, because of course Marvel 2 is nothing like that. I would say that
if you want to get back to the point at hand, which is basically we were discussing why it seems like there's a rift between people who play Guilty Gear and, like you said, someone like me coming on to play Guilty Gear. There's two reasons why it hasn't happened. And number one is because the game isn't available. I can't walk out to the store and go buy it. I have to bend over backwards. I have to get a modded PS2, or I have to do a flip top myself, which already damaged games that I own. And then I have to import the game, which costs a buttload of money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not easy to do. That's hurdle number one. And then hurdle number two is, it's like you said, it's almost like a culture clash because I can go and play Street Fighter, and I can play with a lot of characters that are, normal characters who people in the U.S. have been playing with for years. They're all recognizable. They're interesting. They have a certain style of play to each one. Or I can go play a game like Guilty Gear, which honestly, like I said, at least to me, I do like some anime. I'm not totally against it, but I look at that cast, I'm like, I don't want to fucking pick anyone here. Like, everyone here looks stupid to me. I don't like that style of hard work, and I don't like that style of... it has nothing to do with the gameplay at all. I think the gameplay is very solid. I think the gameplay is tournament-worthy. But I think that the reason that you have people who are like hardcore anime fans playing the game, and then you have people on the outside who've been playing fighting games for a long time, and they're like, man, I don't want to go and have to be a fucking weirdo anime fan to play this game and get turned off.
Okay, but here's my point about that is that, at least that's how it is for a lot of people. A lot of people put too much stock in how others will view them if they do a particular thing. I mean, and to me, you're right. There's a culture clash because this game was developed for the Japanese market, not for the American market. So there's an obvious rift there. But the question is whether or not, as a fighting gamer, are you willing to put the weirdness aside and evaluate the game on its merits rather than how it appears, as far as the design of the characters. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And there's a culture clash there. And personally, I think there's a chance that Guilty Gear might get somewhat popular because I think the anime is starting to make a comeback in the United States. And I think that Guilty Gear will feed on that. So I see what you're saying, that I can see why some people don't play it, because of the culture clash and the perceived notion that those who play Guilty Gear are weird or cosplayers or gay or whatever. And and to me, it's 90% unwarranted because in any whatever it's video games, music, or what, you're gonna find people that play the game where you're just like, okay, that guy beats to a different drum.
Yeah, well, one thing that I could say is you're lucky to be in a part of the country where if you want to play Guilty Gear, you don't have to play Jamie Austin.
But at the same time, though, okay, you don't have to play Jamie Austin, but if you play CVS 2 or Third Strike, you gotta play Ricky.
No. Oh, Ricky, oh please. There's a major difference between Ricky, who everyone has always, said he's a little fruity, or someone who's like so fucking extreme. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, maybe I want to play the game, but I don't want to go to a tournament with these weirdo kids.
fucking
but
mascara
my
on.
question is
It's like,
this,
dude,
though.
it's something that it's just so fucking weird to me. I don't understand how people can do that. I don't even want to play them. They're fucking weird.
But then I would say to me personally, I think you're putting too much stock on what people seem like on the outside. You know, it goes back to, you know, when you're little, not to judge a book by its cover. You know, and that is still true. You know, I'm not to say that you gotta embrace it, but you gotta give people a chance. You know, because how many times think about. I'll say it this way: I've seen pictures of you, and if I saw you walking down the street, I probably would make a stereotype in my head that you hate black people. Because to me, you like a perfect a poster boy for like a KKK clan. You know. And that's true. You're a poster boy.
Poster boy for the KKK.
Yeah, because
I got all
like,
my teeth. What are you talking about?
With the white cone hat and everything, I can see you with that mean expression on your face. I can see you saying, "Die, nigger, die." I can see you saying that. You know.
Oh my God.
You know, now obviously that's far from the truth. You know,
right?
But
wait,
again,
here's the
for
thing.
me to discover that
here's
I gotta
the thing.
put my preconceptions to the side and got to get you know you for you.
Here's the thing. Your preconceptions are based off of something that I can't help. I can't help that I was born with this face and I look this way. All right. I didn't do anything to alter my appearance to go extreme.
Right.
These people who are so fucking weird, they made an active effort to make themselves weird and different.
But how's that any
that's
different
what's
from
weird.
anything else?
Like, what kind of a person would want to come wear mascara, wear a fucking long back black trench coat with no shirt on underneath, put fucking grease on their chest and come to play a video game? Stay home and fucking do that shit. I just want to play. I just want competition.
Right,
I don't want to look at your gay ass.
That's the difference, though. I'm not saying that you got to invite them to your house. I ain't saying that. If someone doesn't give me a good vibe, I'm not going to invite them into my house. That's just how it is, and I don't expect anyone else to, you know. But like you said before, it's not the entire. Obviously, they're not the entire Guilty Gear community is like that. You know,
right, I agree.
Normal, that play the game, they're normal. You know, for lack of, normal quote unquote, because you never know. You go in there and they're, their house looks like it came from, the devil made it himself. You know, with candles and fake blood, and so you never know. So so it doesn't really. So just because it looked normal on the outside doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot, you know. But my advice would be to surround people that play the game that are quote unquote normal, that you don't feel uncomfortable around and don't feel like that this person might want to suck the blood out of you or something, or ask you out on a date, or whatever.
Oh my God.
That's just but that goes. But then again, that goes with anything, because I'm sure that if you find a cosplayer playing Super Turbo, and the guy plays good. Let's say he's got one of the best barbers you've seen, but he wears a skirt. You probably won't be inviting him over to your crib anytime soon.
It's pretty weird, man.
And like I said,
I don't want to think about those kind of things.
I know you don't want to think about those things, but that's the topic at hand. So that's just how I feel about it.
All right. Well, it's been an interesting discussion. I just want to let everyone know I don't hate on Guilty Gear. I don't think there's anything wrong with the game. If Guilty Gear came out for PlayStation 2 tomorrow, I would go buy it and I would play it, because I know people that have it and would play it.
That are normal.
The fact that it's not out. That are normal. I know normal people. Dude, again, if there's comp and the people aren't going to be fucking ridiculous and do ridiculous things around me, I really don't care.
Yeah.
I knew James Austin before he went fucking tranny, and I always told him he was gay and he should just stop pretending, and he never listened to me. But
I say he took your advice and went to the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, I think he kind of did. It went a little bit the wrong way there. He took it a little too seriously.
On one hand, it makes sense on the outside that someone that you feel more uncomfortable with someone who's gay and have a sex change, right? But if transvestites or transsexuals, they usually hook up with people that are like themselves. Like they don't hook up with normal people that you know you don't see a normal person walking out with a hand, with a transsexual under his arm. You know what I'm saying? So on that end of it, you can say, well, good, because most likely he ain't gonna be interested in me because I ain't his type.
I guess that's kind of true, but I can tell you right now that I know for a fact Jamie Austin is going out with a guy who everyone previously thought was normal and straight.
Oh, goodness.
So,
is this one of those others? I know who's gay now. Is this like I know who's gay? Rumor. I mean, I've heard quite a few.
Not I know who's gay rumor. It's I know whose house Jamie Austin basically stayed for 2 weeks without leaving.
Hopefully there's no stain in the carpet and in the basement, like some particular person's house.
I definitely would not know that much detail.
Okay.
Trust me, I wouldn't want to know that much detail.
And I think if you did, you wouldn't tell me anyway. So you're right. No, but
anyway, that's it, man. Guilty Gear comes out for PlayStation 2 tomorrow. I'll buy it. It's my issue is not with the game, and it never was with the game. I think that since after watching it at multiple evolutions at top levels, I think the game is interesting to play. I just think that a reason that a lot of the gamers have not jumped over to it is, number one, it's hard to get, and number two, it's that culture clash that I told you about. A lot of people are very uncomfortable. I myself don't give a shit. If the game's worth playing, I'll play it. But I think a lot of people feel uncomfortable jumping over to a group where there's a lot of
the shepherds,
figureheads in that community that are doing that kind of stuff.
But let me ask you a question, though. If Justin, Sanford, Yipes, all of them start playing Guilty Gear tomorrow, then wouldn't you say that a 95% of uncomfortability goes away?
I don't know. I really don't care. I don't think it takes an abundance of weirdos to give something a bad reputation, to be honest. I think it takes one or two.
But right. You're right. That's exactly right. But I'm gonna say for the people that are uncomfortable about Guilty Gear, because of the culture clash. But if like I said, the 5 people if you and Yipes and Justin and Sanford all start playing that game seriously, just as seriously as you play. Okay, he's fine. What's up, Kai?
What the hell is that noise? Oh, it's someone calling it.
Kai? Kai? Fix
Hello?
your microphone. Kai needs to fix his microphone. Anyway,
I can't hear. I don't know if it would give any more credibility to the community. I think an honest reason why a lot of people did start playing Guilty Gear is because they felt at the time that there was a community that didn't have a lot of comp. There weren't 1 or 2 players dominating the fucking community like Justin dominates Street Fighter. So they thought, oh, here's a chance for me to actually play a game and have a chance to win rather than just get fucking owned by a bunch of people who play it all day. And I think that was the mentality for a couple of years, but now it's kind of going away because a lot of people are starting to play the game seriously, and it is getting harder to easily play. But, like I said, make the game easily available, a lot of people will start playing.
all right. Yeah, I mean, like I said, hopefully, we'll get some more competition in this game, especially after Accent Core is released.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It all depends on the developer and what they're thinking, and I don't know. I don't even know if it would sell enough if it came out in the U.S., but oh well.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, man. All right, I got to get going. I got to be up in like 8 hours to go to work, so
well, thanks for coming on the show, and then, of course, if you hear anything more about Texas Showdown, just give me a
yeah. Of course. You know that if I ever have a scoop, I'm going to jump right on, as always. But I just want to wish everyone a happy Christmas, a Merry Christmas, or Happy Holiday, or whatever you celebrate, because this will be the last time that you probably will be a radio show before Christmas anyway.
Right.
Happy
again, Kwanzaa, people.
Yeah. And, again, expect in 2007, expect that if you liked what you saw 3 years ago, you're going to like it even better this time around. So, all right, man, I am out.
All right, have a good night, man.
All right, later.
All right, bye-bye. All right. So let me see here. Is there anyone else that wants to get on? Say now, forever hold your peace. I think I'm gonna do the radio for another. Hello?
Yo, yo. How's life? Is he still on?
Yeah, I'm still on. About another 8 minutes.
Is DSP still around?
Nah, he had to go.
Alright. So what's the topic now?
Oh, just getting past the preconceptions that he was talking about in Guilty Gear, and people taking it seriously as a game, and I think that, like I said, hopefully it gets a stateside release for Accent Core, and so we all can be playing it.
I just don't understand why it's not such a great, why is it not a game that, swept the nation?
Well,
I just don't understand that.
Well, first of all, is obvious is that stateside releases are rare, and two is it's like I think he has a point with the culture clash because it's not tailored for the American market. It's made for the Japanese market, and it's gonna it takes a certain type of it takes a certain type of person to actually be able to enjoy that game because they need to put up they need to I remember when I first saw Guilty Gear, I wasn't really interested. It was only after one of my friends from St. Louis, he has to go virtual fighter player. His name is Tim. He actually showed me the game and showed me the unique things about the game and why what was good. And I'm like, oh wow, okay, well then let me do that. I learned that the game has a lot to it, and so there you go. So I've been playing it, on and off ever since, and been a fan of it ever since. So.
Yeah, I want to get into a hardcore, but the only competition I have is Garvin, and the level difference is just so retarded that when I'm on, when I play him, it's kind of like, should I even bother? I mean, it's just, it's like, and I still play, but I'm gonna get into it for 207. That's a gimme. I'm gonna get into it for 07, especially when Accent Core come out, since they added and changed so many different things. It's kind of like everyone's generally starting at square one. So I wouldn't mind jumping in at that point and seeing if I can dabble a little bit with the old heads. You know what I mean?
I hear you. Hopefully, by the time it comes out in the States, I'll be reestablished and be able to buy a TV.
That would always be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. So, yeah, I'm hoping that definitely be the case.
Well, hell, you got the nice little job, Isn't it like a assistant manager at Bank of America or something like that?
No, banking center manager.
Banking center manager?
Yeah, so the manager. Yeah.
Oh, you're the manager?
Yeah.
Oh, see, you'll be on your feet in a month. Yeah, you'll be on your feet in a month.
Yeah, about a month. If I had my own store, I'd be on my feet in 3 weeks because let me just say this much: managers, if they meet their goals and exceed their goals, they get incentives every quarter, every 3 months. And there's one guy, he got a check for $12,000.
A full how?
3 months.
I need to aim a little higher for my job.
I mean, he killed it. Don't get me wrong. He you know, his store did excellent. He blew away the the expectations. So his commission check was $12,000. Realistically, I'm looking between $2,000 and $5,000.
Yeah.
You know, but $2,000 and $5,000 every 3 months. That's not bad.
Well, I mean, it's not bad. I mean,
no, it's
not bad at all.
It's not bad at all, considering that I'm also going to get discounts, like on my, soon to be auto insurance, on my cell phone, and stuff like that. I mean, then I'm going to have my own corporate credit card. I'll be going on trips, vacations. 3 weeks. I get 3 weeks of vacation, 10 days of sick time. I mean, it's like, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's always a great thing. It's always definitely a great thing. Well, I mean, good luck on that. Definitely. I know you heard it 1,000 times, but of course I want to say it at least one more time. Good luck on that. Hope it works out for you.
I do too. I'm doing too. I mean, only bad thing is that, of course, when I get home, I am exhausted. Don't know why I'm walking around because I'm not sitting at the desk. I haven't actually been in a center, except walking through and shopping people. I've been shopping stores all day, so I've been actually walking for about 8 hours today.
Yeah.
All over Seattle, downtown.
Well, this way you get a feel of what's supposed to be going on.
Yeah, it's great. It's great experience. You know, it's just physically draining. You know, I'm a fat mofo. You know, I don't like walking. You know, exercise is kryptonite to me. So, but it's all good though.
Yeah. I'm talking to a friend of mine. Hold on 1 second. I'm talking to a friend of mine. Remember when me and was it DSP? Was it DSP was talking about the people that we play and train in the 3rd, right? And at the time I told him, hey, there's a guy that that I'm trying to, show the ropes, at least what I know, whatever. Hold on 1 minute. Yeah.
That kid is killing me. That kid is killing me.
Yeah. Yes, baby. Yes, baby. So, my goodness, women. We're gonna get into those later. But I'm talking to him and I'm like, hey man, remember the guy that I said I was trying to, get right and ready and everything. And he was like, yeah, Andrew, what about him? I was like, we played today and I beat him, 35-5. And and I actually, it would have been worse than that, but I was playing a couple of bullshit teams. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, the score would have been just about the same if he would have played him, because, he's right around the corner. Of course, they play. And, after a couple, he probably would have took it easy on him, too. Go finish eating, sir. I'm bringing you something to eat in just a moment. Congratulations. I'll get you a red drink. And I was like, we was playing right. He's playing right. He keeps complaining about his controller. And I'm like, well, man, I can get you a Mod Stick for $50. Right, $60 right now. And he was like, and I was like, I've been setting up with different people. When I talked to, I think it was Versette the last week or early this week or whatever, about, buying his controller. Now, I wasn't buying a controller for me, because I got one. My shit's perfect. I was buying a controller for him so he can have a better controller so he can play. Love you too, baby. And, you know, he's like, well, and he just says, and, you know, I don't know if he said it out of anger, I don't know if he said it just because he really meant it, but he was like, I'm not going to put money into a game just to play it. But then he's complaining about his controller is a piece of shit. You know, that just blows me away. I don't understand, you know. But anyways, so I just wanted to go back to that conversation that me and DSP had about, you know, people that you train and want to get into. And I just want to say to him, I'm about to the point where he's at with people and training people because, you know, trying to get people, you know, at least on your level. And I'm not saying I'm a good Marvel player or a great Marvel player or whatever, but, you know, I'm no pushover. You know, you're not just going to beat me down or whatever the case may be. You're going to know I was there. And, you know, it's disappointing. I'm a little disappointed today. I'm vexing with you. I mean, I'm venting to you about my disappointment today because this guy, you know, is generally smart, you know, even without knowing all the little things about the game. He's generally smart about his gameplay, the things, his choices that he makes with the tools that he has. And, you know, he just disappointed me. No. And I don't know. I'm sorry. It's probably this is a random thought that I just had, and I had to express it. And he's a lost cause now. Like, you know, I took it easy on him after a few games.
Well, my parting words would be just let him decide. You know, I would just leave it alone. It's like, well, just, you know, don't initiate any more games. Like, you know, let him contact you. You know.
That's his suggestion is.
And then, you know, if he contacts you and like, hey, want to get together some games, he's like, what? So I can listen to you complain about the controller all night. you know, and then he's got to kind of make a decision. He's like, well, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love playing games with you, but I don't want to listen to you complain for the next 3 hours.
Yeah, because he did complain the whole time. I mean, the whole time. He was just like, God, this fucking controller. And I was like, do you want to play with my controller and I'll play with your controller? You know, I mean, this controller is crap. It's not a good, like, he built it himself. You know, and don't get me wrong, I built mine myself, but, you know, I have a mouse box. I have a mouse stick box, you know, which is a big help. You know, and I just added the buttons to the 360, the controller, you know. I just added that stuff to the box, you know, and he did the same thing, but he made his from scratch and wood and whatever. And, you know, and he doesn't have convex buttons. He has concave buttons, you know, one's in arcade, which sucks. He has a competition stick and a 360, which is even worse. And then he complains about, you know, his stick is just, you know, so bad and he can't do anything. This, that, and the third. And I'm just like, listen to him. And I got tired of hearing him. I'm like, well, spend $60 and buy the monster in the street. You know? I mean,
you also
even if
consider the possibility that he might just be saying that to save face.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but after you hear it for 2 hours, you're kind of like, anything else? Something, you know?
Because, logic dictates that if it's that bad as he claimed that he would do something about it, you know. But there's some people who just need something to blame when they lose instead of themselves, so.
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, you know, it's people who play me to let you know that, you know, I'll bitch, you know, when I play. You know, when I'm losing, I constantly keep losing. But I bitch about, damn, fuck, I did this, but it didn't come out, you know, my execution is bad, or, you know, I thought I blocked that, or, you know, something that, you know, just it's different, you know. I'm not blaming the controller. I'm blaming my execution. And I get, like, I wouldn't say anything if you beat me flat out. You know, you just outplayed me. I'll get upset when I'm playing and it just seems like everything I'm doing is just not happening. You know, maybe, you know, I triangle jump with fucking Magneto, and the only thing I got was a damn, normal jump hard punch, and now I just lost Magneto because of normal jump hard punch. This is simple shit. Just whatever,
Next time you play against this dude, like, intentionally lose on purpose. He goes, damn, man, it's like, I could have won, man, but I kept my eye closed. I mean, seriously, it's just to show how asinine his complaining is.
Yeah. I like that. It's like, man, I should have won, but I just couldn't keep my fucking eyes open.
And then eventually he'll get the point, and
hopefully he does. It's just to me, it's just disappointing because this is somebody I took to a couple tournaments with me, and I introduced him, and I was like, hey, this is up and coming talent, and he's liking the little attention, and I'm not saying I know a bunch of all stars or whatever the case may be, but I showed him who's Zawa, Garvin, fucking Mix Up, and Shazula, whatever. These people are not super famous, but they're well-known names within the community, and I just wanted them to know, hey, these people go out and they play. Not Zawa anymore, but they go out there and they play, and these people are good, and let me show you what these people know, what they can do, and whatever, and talk to these people, get tips from them. And I wouldn't waste my time on somebody if I wouldn't waste my time introducing them to these people or driving an hour and a half from my house, and bringing them along and introduce them to all these people to say, for him to say to me one day, I don't take this seriously. Well, I don't expect you to take it like life or death, but, when I'm like, okay, yeah, we're from Gainesville, I don't want some half-ass person coming from Gainesville with me. I don't want to be like, okay, let's play teams and be like, let's pick the guy from Pensacola instead of him. It's kind of embarrassing in the sense that it's kind of like, you won't even pick your own people from your own city. It may be not like that, but I don't know. That's how I think. If we rode in the same car together, why can't we be in a team together? Why can't we play a team tourney together? Why are you not as good as us? What differentiates you from us when we play and we're a threat, and then you just you get rushed down by MSP like there's no tomorrow, and you have no shot in the world. What makes you so different? I don't want to bring him with me with all that dumb shit. But anyways, you're right. I'm not gonna call him. Let him play. See if he calls me, which he does hit me up. A little bit. When he wants to play, and then do what you said. But change the subject because I'm talking about absolutely nothing. So what's new in the hood?
I can barely keep my eyes open. I'm gonna take off.
Well, man, if you heading out, if you're going to sleep,
huh? No,
tonight.
I promise you, I have only been sleeping for like the last 5 minutes. Like, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what you said before. Like, I heard the silence, and the silence woke me up. So.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. No, I heard you all. You was talking about your friend.
Thank you for telling me that I'll bore you to sleep.
No.
I appreciate
no, seriously,
that.
I am tired. I'm gonna eat this bag of Remus. I'm taking my ass straight to bed. Cause like tomorrow, I'm gonna be walking all over Seattle yet again, and the thought of that makes me even more tired.
Well, man,
I will be having
time date.
Huh?
When you do set up a time, whatever, when you do your next show, and sit down before you make your next show. Sit down and see if you can possibly get some structure on exactly how you want the show formatted, and exactly how you wanted it, and see if that would make life a little easier for you, knowing that you can say, okay, the show's going to be from this time to that time, and that's it. Especially now you're working.
Well,
you're not going to get more listeners from sporadic, just popping up and saying, okay, today I'm going to be on, and leave a little message in the forums of Shuriken.
Well,
Yeah,
I
it's not
decided
gonna
to
bring
do
listeners.
shows. I decided, I don't know if I think I announced this earlier, but if I did, I'll do so now. I decided to do shows every Saturday. To do the main shows every Saturday, and then maybe one other abbreviated show during the weeknights.
Mm-hmm.
Like this Saturday, Mukai and Video want to get on. They're always a Wyatt, so I can, so we're gonna have them on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and then like maybe, and then sometime next week I'll do another abbreviated show, and then I have something planned for next Saturday.
Yeah. And just see how it expands from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm letting you go because you sound tired, and I'm not talking about anything tonight. And you enjoy your burger and your walk tomorrow.
I say ramen noodles.
Oh, ramen. Excuse me. The ramen. Enjoy your ramen.
Noodles, ramen.
It's ramen.
Everyone loves
It's
ramen. Okay.
Right. God damn it.
So I won't eat ramen noodles. You go get your pussy. And we'll talk again.
I would do that right after I get done with this Warcraft thing. I play Dota. I don't play World of Warcraft.
That's the wrong thing to say. You just, I mean, we're no longer friends, man. I can't mess with friends that do crap. So.
Nah, I don't play World of Warcraft. I play Warcraft 3, and it's like a mini game called Dota, and it's really fun. It's a challenge. It's nothing that I'm gonna spend 12 hours on to level up my character one time. Definitely nothing like that. The games generally last no more than maybe 45 minutes at the most, and and you'd be done and over with. It's pretty fun. I got like 60 characters that you can choose from, But let me let you go, man. You have a great night, and I guess I'll speak with you on Saturday.
All right, man. Take it easy.
All right, later.
Late, man. All right, people. I am out. I am tired. I can barely keep my eyes open. So I will see you guys Saturday. And give me some feedback, especially about the Force Break thing. What you think of the Texas Showdown thing. What you think of Guilty Gear Accent Core. I'd like to hear from you. So, and you can post it in the feedback forum on my site, AlphaISM.com. Just click on the forum link. Or you can go to forum.streetfighteralpha.net. So, alright, people. Y'all take it easy. Later.